In this video, we're going to trigger our standing up animation based off of a box collider. So to do that, I'm going to first move this skeletal mesh over here. We'll flip them around like that. Okay, so we're just going to position them somewhere over here. Now what I want is I want a trigger volume, and that's going to be a box trigger. I'm going to type this in the top left. I'm going to find our box trigger, pull it over here. So I'm going to scale this out a little bit. And basically when the player gets close enough and they enter this box collider, I want to trigger inside of the level blueprints to start playing the get up animation. Just a little bit. All right, so the player is going to walk right over here. And when they get close, then the get up animation is going to play. Stretch that out just to make sure they can't get past it. All right. So to do that, if you select your box trigger just like this, and while it's selected, you open up your level blueprints. So open level blueprint here, and just find an empty space. And what we're going to do is we are going to right click right here where it says add event for trigger box 2. You probably want to actually name this properly. Go to add on actor begin overlap. So what that's going to do is it's going to create an event call from trigger box 2, which is what we have selected. And from that, I want to actually, in this case, we actually want to get a reference to our skeletal mesh. So I'm going to minimize this. We're going to select our skeletal mesh over here. While that's selected, we're going to go back into our blueprints. And since we have that selected, we can right click. We can go to create a reference to Parasite. We can drag off. And what I'm looking for is the play animation. So if we click the play animation, then what that's doing is that is accessing the play animation function inside of the skeletal mesh. And I'm going to drag into that node so that it will do that. Now, this is telling it to play an animation, but we still need to tell it which animation to play. So we want to say stand up. And if we compile and we save. Now, because the stand up is not in an idle loop, we don't want to set looping. But if you did want to trigger another looping animation, you just make sure to check that. Hit play. Once you enter, it will trigger the stand-up animation. And you'll see that it's re-triggering every single time I hit the animation trigger. And that's because we are telling it to do that, right? So what we want to do is we probably want to do once right here. So do once, okay. And if we do that, compile, save. We have this other thing triggering it. Let's move that over. Hit play. All right. Now let's try one more thing here. Looks like it's getting up at the very start. Let's double check that. Oh, that's why we didn't turn off this playing node right here. Let's make sure that we do not want this to play on start. We want it to be perfectly still. Now, if you had an idle right here, like an idle laying down, that would be good to do. For now, should not be playing on start. But as soon as we enter the trigger, it will start, and we could have some sort of audio cue or some sort of scary tension to play. And then after that's done, we might want it to start walking towards the player and create a scary moment. But that's how we can actually trigger an animation through our level blueprint.